Well, Lennox Lewis, always good seeing you. You know what? Madly, I saw your brother Dennis. Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago. I saw him in Tesco's of all places in Potter's Bar where we live. I mean, the old stomping ground for yourself.
Yes.
We was out in
Yes.
Hadley Wood back in the day, weren't we?
Yeah.
Good times, man. I used to come up to your house, play snooker.
Yep. Are you still good?
I'm still good.
Okay, good.
Do you remember the victories? Yeah.
I only remember the victories.
Yeah, you know what? It was good though, bumping into Dennis as well.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time. We don't see each other, enough now. But what
That's
a
good.
fight we've got Saturday night.
Yeah.
Not often do we get an all-British heavyweight world title fight. I mean, we'll go back to when you boxed Frank Bruno, 1993.
Yeah.
International Stadium in Cardiff. I mean, they don't come around often, do they?
No, and when they come around, they're big. They're just like a world championship fight because, both guys are boxing for respect and both guys are tough. And, there's always one guy that's leading the way, Anthony Joshua, and the other guy that's always far behind that's not getting the accolades and, sitting there pondering and thinking. You don't know what's going through his mind, but his mind is he wants to be number one.
Sure.
So-
I mean, Lennox, you've been in the position of both of these guys where you've been the young guy that's coming up and boxing for that title, like Daniel Dubois in many ways. He's learnt his trade a little. But you've also been in Anthony Joshua's shoes as well.
Yeah.
Going into this fight, who does it suit most?
Both guys, actually. It suits Anthony Joshua because, being at number one, you always have to get tested. You can't be at number one without getting tested. And Daniel is the man to come test him because he's been sitting back in the background saying, I've been boxing all these fights and, I want respect. And by beating Anthony Joshua, he'll get that respect because he's a quiet guy, doesn't say too much, but you can tell there's a lot of things on his mind, and being a heavyweight champion is what was always on his mind. And even the fact that he got presented the belt, he wants to prove himself in the ring and go in there and say, yeah, I deserve to keep this belt.
Sure. I mean, look, both guys have been on a roller coaster of a journey to get to this stage right now. Now, you was on that same journey as well, Lennox, where you had to come back from defeat, rebuild, etc. Mentally, who would be in a better place out of these two now? Because you look at the last 12 months and you go, they've rebuilt, they've got themselves, they've got the confidence back. Where would you place them?
They both got different mental aspects of it. Both of them have rebuilt in a sense and grown. So you got two guys that are experienced. They've been through different fights. They've boxed the same guy. Now, one guy put him down. Daniel put Oleksandr Usyk down, and Anthony Joshua wasn't able to do that. So there's a good kind of like different aspects of the fight when you look at the opponents they fought and the fact that they fought the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you was training Daniel Dubois, what would you be telling him? What would the advice you'd be giving him going into this?
Probably to start with your jab. Keep your head moving. Don't get hit by jabs. And go out there and box your fight.
Yeah, and I was listening to Richie Woodall actually in the build-up to this, and he was talking about that jab, and who establishes that first, maybe dominates the fight because the right hand is key for both of these guys.
Yeah.
But Richie actually said that Daniel's got the hardest jab he's ever felt, including Joshua.
Wow. Well, it all starts with the jab. Like for me, if you go out there and hit a guy with the jab, you know what the guy's gonna do? Say, I don't like this jab, and he's gonna protect against it. When he protects against it, that's when you start throwing the right hand. Now he has to protect against that. Then if he's protecting against both, then that's where the hooks and uppercuts and things come in. And it's who can get to that place first.
I mean, Anthony Joshua used to use that jab as an attacking weapon. Now he uses it as a defensive mechanism to get in range for that right hand and let the shot go. Daniel Dubois still throws that that left hand like he's throwing across, really. He still attacks with that shot. Could that be an advantage?
It's going to be the difference if that happens. I mean, if you allow a man to get through with the jab and get through with the right cross, it's really up to Anthony Joshua to protect against that. And, he's got a good trainer in his corner. Let's see if them guys can do that.
I mean, both guys have relatively new trainers, and they both rebuilt since having those trainers. Like, Lennox, you're better placed to say this than anyone. When You know, it's got to be meticulous in everything you do at this level. You leave no stone unturned, and that puts the fighter in a good headspace. Who would you say has teamed up with the better trainer? You've got Ben Davison, and obviously Don Charles is working now, who's great, you know, psychologically with fighters as well, working with Daniel Dubois. Who would you say is, you know, got the advantage there, as in with the trainers?
You know, I always like the mental guy, the guy that can get in your head. You know, both of them are good trainers. You can't go against any of them. You know, they're both worked hard to be where they're at. And it's really getting the message across to the fighter. And the fighter actually listening to your message. You know, you can't be a trainer and you're going in there in a big fight and your boxer's not listening to you. So you have to make sure that your boxer gets that attention. You listen to me, listen to instruction. I'm the guy on the outside. I'm the guy seeing what you can't see. So you have to listen to me. So it's the better listener.
Sure. I mean, Anthony Joshua's aiming to become a three-time. You know all about that.
Yeah.
You've got that. He's aiming to become a three-time world heavyweight champion. Where does that rank him?
I think it ranks him in a great spot because he's done the work to get there. He's 3 times champion. You know, it's not easy winning a belt, but it's even harder keeping it.
Yeah, and he's aiming to become a part of that elite club, and you're in that club. You're a 2-time lineal champion, and that moves us on to undisputed. Does this all roads lead to undisputed for Anthony Joshua? If he comes through against Dubois, we got Fury Usyk going December the 21st, which I'll ask you about in a minute. But boxing winner, is that where you see it? Does all roads lead to undisputed?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to see the fight. The fight's going to happen. You know, if Turk Usyk is there, it's going to happen. He makes things happen, and I think everybody wants to see that fight. We want another British fight like that. You know, it's going to be great.
I mean, I've got to ask you now, you mentioned it, Turk Usyk. How good is that influence of Saudi boxing right now? I mean, the fans have been starved of all these great fights happening for years, going back to when you was undisputed champion, you know, back 25 years ago, Lennox. Now the fights are happening, and that is down to Riyadh season, Turkey Usyk, the investment of Saudi Arabia. It's great for the boxing fans, right?
Absolutely terrific for the boxing. I think he's doing a great job. In fact, you know, I'm going to help him do it because promoting boxing around the world, you know, and the way how he's doing it's just another level, and that's what we need to do to make sure boxing's great.
Listen, there's no one better place to do that than yourself, being involved in that. You know, I want to move on to Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury, the rematch.
Yes.
What did you think of the first fight, by the way?
I thought the first fight was epic.
But do you think was it a fair result?
It was a fair result.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, nobody can say that Oleksandr Usyk didn't do the work in that fight. He prepared. You know, he had, you know, his country's at war. If he wasn't preparing for that fight, he would be, you know, defending his country. But this was a war to him, and he treated it that way. From round 1, he was on Tyson Fury, and you know, in some spots in the fight, Tyson Fury wasn't as serious as I would have liked him to be. And I think, you know, when he looks back at the fight, there's a lot of things he can correct. But it should be a doozer, a great fight, the next one. I mean, I want to see what happens in the next one.
Can Fury, can he reverse that? As it, you know, I mean, he's got the attributes, right?
Yeah,
he's a big guy.
Not only that, he's done it before.
Sure.
He's an up and down guy. Right now he's down. He knows what to do to get up.
Yeah, sure. Listen, so I just want to get a prediction for Saturday night. I mean, listen, it's a great fight.
May the best man win.
Yeah, but listen, both guys have got the tools to pull off the job. But does Anthony Joshua's experience maybe give him the edge?
I think Anthony Joshua's experience does give him the edge. He's been through bigger fights. He's boxed Oleksandr Usyk twice. The only thing is Daniel Dubois was the only one out of the two of them to put Oleksandr Usyk down on the floor. So, you know, he's going in there, you know, with high points.
I mean, Lennox, it's been a long time now since you were in that ring. Like, say, undisputed 25 years ago. Do you still miss it?
Miss it, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're not going to do none of these silly returns?
No. No.
Brilliant, mate. Listen, always great speaking to you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Nice one.
Thank you.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.